Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Fred Speaks. I pray this podcast finds you in the best of health and spirits. And I'd like to talk about, for the purpose of this podcast, something that is basically inedible. It's something that, really can't be avoided. And it's something that most, if not everybody, if they had a choice, they wouldn't want to have to encounter this. But it's something that is a part of life. And so it's something that really can't eliminate or do away with. But the topic of this podcast is called Go Through. And I was looking at the words in this subject. The word go is to move or proceed, especially to or from something. And through means in at one end, side or surface, and out at the other. So to go through, you got to move, you got to proceed. You can't stay where you're at, but you have to move. And if you think about if there's something that is after you and trying to destroy you, it's not the movies where you have these movies where it seems like the person runs right to the trouble instead of running away from the trouble. And that's the movie, and it's about the drama. But in order to go through, you can't run back. You gotta move and proceed forward. Otherwise, you're running back into trouble. You're running back into whatever it was that caused you to cry. Whatever it was that caused your head to go down and caused you to be disappointed, that caused you to lose focus on what's really important. So then, if you want to be better and to reach new levels in life, then you have to go through. God never promised us that it was going to be easy. He's never said that it was always going to be sunshine, but that there would be a little rain. There'll be some storms, some trouble in our lives. But the storms, the rain is not for us to, as on a rainy day, just lay down and not do anything. But even in our storms and our dark days, we still have to go through. We still have to move. We still have to proceed. And it's easy to It's almost like being in smoke, and the smoke just overtakes you to where you stop moving, you stop breathing. But in order to go through, you gotta, no matter what the situation may be, and there are many things that can happen in our lives, and we can't feel like we're the only one that are going through. I may not be going through what you're going through, and you may not be going through what I'm going through, but we all are going through something. No one is exempt. At some point in your life, if you continue to live, you're going to have to go through something. Whether it is financial issues, job issues, relationship issues, sickness issues, spiritual issues. And there are some issues that are physically not seen, but mentally they take a toll on you, and they cause us to be stagnant. They cause us to feel like, what's the use? Why should I continue? Why should I proceed? It doesn't look like anything is going to change. That, my life is what it is, and, what's the point? But you gotta go through. You gotta go through. Even on the days where it seems like it's too dark. It's too dark. I can't see my way. I can't see how this is going to be a good day. I can't see how this is going to work out or that's going to work out. But even in those dark days, those uncertain days, those days of, why should I? Even on those days, we still got to go through. We got to still proceed, move forward. There is something waiting on the other side of the door. And it's hard to get to the door and to walk through the door because it's not a smooth path. It's not a smooth path to get to the door. But if we can walk through, we can press through, there's something good on the other side. And that is when obstacles come, the first thing the enemy of our own minds want us to do is to give up, to throw in the towel. But God is on the other side of the issue. He's not only on the other side of the issue, but he's in the issue with us. He's the one that's given us the strength if we can believe, if we can trust in him that he has us. And one scripture says, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. And it goes on in a later verse saying, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. He's with us, but we have to believe that he is there. Not only is he there, but then he's on the other side of our issue, of our situations, of our problems. The things that make us cry, the things that keep us up at night, the things that brings about depression, the things that cause us to be stagnant. He's on the other side as well as with us. But I think about a child that is trying to walk, and that parent is standing a ways away from the child and bidding them to come, bidding them to walk, bidding them to take a step. And I was thinking about Peter when he was in the boat and Jesus came walking on the water. And when Jesus bid Peter to come, and Peter began to walk on water, and he was doing good as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus. And that's what I want to encourage everybody that is listening into this podcast. And I know that everybody is going through something. Everybody's going through something. It's sometimes you can put on a mask before people as if everything is all good in your life. But we all have something that we're going through and that we have to go through, that we're continuously going through. But we have to move forward. We have to proceed. You can't get through it if you quit. You can't get through it if you faint and give up. But you got to keep moving, even if it's small steps, even if it's a slow pace. And you all know the story about the hare and the turtle or the tortoise, how that the rabbit was much faster, but the tortoise just kept going. He wasn't as fast, but he kept going. He didn't give up. And he was able to cross the finish line before the hare, the rabbit. And that's what I'm telling you that are listening in. No matter what the situation is, just keep moving. Just keep proceeding. You know, some people may say you're not moving as fast. You're taking too much time. But you have to go at your pace. You have to go at your pace, but it's a continuous pace. But you got to go through it. You got to, if you want to get to the other side, if you want to see the light at the end of the tunnel, you got to keep going. It may seem like there is no light. Everything seems dark, like there is no hope. But I'm telling you, there is hope if you can proceed, if you can keep moving forward. And if we go through, the ability to continue and go through will provide such an unbelievable strength. And you can say, I made it. It was dark. It seemed like it was hopeless. Seemed like I couldn't make it. But I made it through. And you have to give God the praise, because you know that if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have been able to make it through. But you got to go through. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. There's some things that we're going through that are bad. If others knew the things that we're going through, they'd probably be like, I had no clue. I didn't know. But that's okay that they don't know it. You and God knows. And you got to go through. You got to keep going. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Don't quit. It's easy to quit. Just throw your hands up and don't do anything. But what kind of accomplishment would that be? There's nothing achieved by giving up. But if you want to win, you got to go through. If you want to have a testimony of what God can do, you got to go through. He's waiting. He's waiting on the other side of that door. He's beckoning for you. His arms are stretched out. He's waiting on you to come into his arms, for him to put his arms around you and say to you, well done. But you got to go through. That you passed the test, that you didn't give up, but you kept proceeding. You kept the faith. You kept going. And we want to see it. We want to see how things are going to work out. But that's not faith. Faith is about when you don't see. It says the evidence of things not seen. You don't see it. But you got to believe it, that if I can keep going, if I can just keep pressing my way, keep doing the things that I need to do, that I can get through it. I can get through this. As you're listening to this, you ought to say it to yourself, I can get through this. You know your situation. You know the things that you're battling with, the things that you're going through. You got to go through. You got to keep pressing. And if you keep moving and you keep proceeding, before you know it, you'll be through it. Then you can tell somebody that, hey, I had some dark days, but I didn't give up. With God's help, I did not give up. I kept moving forward. I kept proceeding. And that, man, a father loves to see their child be able to, when they get hurt, something happens to them, for them to be able to get up and continue. To get up and try again. But don't just give up. Sometimes you have to cry. You get bruised or hurt. And you have to cry sometime. But even after you're crying, you got to get up. You got to go through. And I just wanted to talk about this on this podcast, go through, and encourage somebody. I know there's somebody out there that is going through something. We all are going through something. It may not be as major as others, but we're going through something. And in order to be successful, in order to bounce back, in order to reach higher heights and deeper depths, we got to go through. And it's not to kill us or destroy us, but it's to make us stronger. And we can do all things through Christ that strengthen us. And I pray that you were able to get something out of this podcast. And we want to encourage you to join us for another episode of Fred Speaks. Thank you.